Ciao everybody, we are back. Now the dough, as you can see, has doubled inside, and remember all the ingredients we put in it, and they will be, you can click on the bottom and then you will find the recipe and all the ingredients. Okay, remember I told you this dough is going to be kind of sticky? It is. So what I'm going to do, this is a little bit of vegetable oil or canola oil, whatever you have in the house, not olive oil. I'm going to dip my fingers in there, and I'm going to kind of pull it away from the bowl. You don't really need to use flour with this dough. So also I'm going to take the same oil and I'm going to spread a little bit of oil on my board. Remember, no flour. Okay. Now we're getting into the fun part, where we're actually going to make the brioches. Okay. I think this is enough because we don't want it too oily. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just pour this on my board right here. Dump that. And we're going to put this away. I'm going to dip my hands again. Now I'm going to kind of work it like this. This dough is going to be a little sticky. I don't know if you ever made focaccia, but this reminds me of focaccia dough. If you see that it has little holes, don't worry about it. Just kind of, you know, it's like pie crust, you know, you cannot mess up pie crust. You just kind of push your dough on top of the little hole and it'll be fine. Okay, now, if you remember, I have half a stick of sweet butter here, okay, and it's at room temperature. So I am going to dab this with butter. So remember I told you this resembles puff pastry, it resembles croissants, it resembles, you know, a little bit of the Italian Easter bread. It just resembles all that good stuff that we already know how to make, okay? All right, now we're going to fold this over this, like this. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pat this fold with butter. And then we're going to fold this over this. All right, now we're going to fold this on top of this, like this. And I'm going to go can grab my scraper here. And sometimes you're going to have to do this. Remember I told you about the weather. When you're baking or cooking, making gnocchis, the weather has a lot to do with it. Okay? If your dough is a little bit sticky, what are you going to do? You have to find a little remedy. You're going to dust your hands with a little bit of flour. Normally, I don't do that, but this time it looks like we had to, but that's okay. So when you make a focaccia, you don't use a rolling pin. You just use your hands and you stretch it as far as you want to stretch it. Now this makes about 12 brioche, okay? So what am I doing? In Italian, sto lavorando la pasta. I am working the dough with my finger, con le mani. And delle volte devo usare un po' di farina. Questa è farina, flour, burro, butter, olio, oil. Questo qui si chiama la spianatoia, the board. So I'm going to try to stretch this as much as I can. Wherever you think it's a little bit too thick, just like pie crust, that's what you do. Okay. Sometimes I get 12, sometimes I only get 10. It just depends. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut these. And I'm going to get, which I think everybody has one or two of these right here. Una rolletta. It's what you make vitelliate with, how you cut them. That's how my mother cut them, like this. I got this in Italy. So what we're going to do is either with a ridges side or the straight side. It's like a little pizza cutter. I am going to cut these. I'm going to do 6. Okay, I'm going to cut 6 strips. We're going to do 6 plain, and then we're going to do the rest filled with the filling, and I will show you. Okay, so I have lined 2 cookie sheets this side with parchment paper. I never bake without parchment paper, especially when you're doing pastries. This is like a lifesaver. So I'm going to place this right here, and perhaps I'm going to move it so you can see it. And we're going to do the plain ones first. Okay, so this is what I do. I get one of these strips and I fold it again. That's why it comes like puff pastry, because the methodology of this is folding with butter, then more butter, and then folding some more. And as I fold this time, I'm going to kind of stretch a little bit. Don't worry if it's not very even, because when it goes in the oven fixes everything. So we're going to twist it like you would do a braid, you know, except it looks like a little rope. Then I'm going to put it together like this, and I'm going to put it right here. And it's done. Make sure the ends look pretty as it can be. You don't have to be perfect, remember? Like I said, when it goes in the oven fixes everything. Okay, so I'm going to start on one end, and I'm going to roll and roll. Then I go the opposite way, and I roll the other way, okay? And this kind of helps make all the, all the folds that the puff pastry has. Like when you get a croissant, if you open it up, you see how many little folds it has. Also, when you make them plain like this, these are good. If you have a luncheon, you can put chicken salad and serve it to your girlfriends with chicken salad, your favorite chicken salad, or you can just eat them like this plain. They're delicious no matter how you serve them. Because of the butter. The butter is what makes them so good. Okay. So I'm going to roll and roll and roll. Then we're going to roll the other way, and then we're going to bring it together. And you keep doing that until, now you don't have to make the filled ones. You can just make these if you like these. I eat one of these for breakfast when I have them. I don't have them all the time because they're not very, you know, they're fattening. Anything good is fat, but they're good. Okay, so we got 5 made, and now we're going to make the last one with this. Usually you can get 12 plain ones like the ones I just got done making. These are so good hot when they come out of the oven. So after we do this process here, they still have to raise for about another 20 minutes. Okay, so I am going to put these aside right here, and I am going to let it sit like that and raise. Now we got the leftover dough. We are going to make the ones that are filled. Okay, so I already, by the way, I'm using my nephew Stephen Hendricks made me this cutting board. Isn't it beautiful? He gave all his aunts for Christmas a gift that he made with his own hands, and I love it. I use it all the time, and I wanted to use it today. So Stephen, thank you very much. Okay, so our fillings are raspberry filling, preserves, no jam. Please don't use jam. This is cherries, preserves, and it has the cherries in it. And then of course, guys, you all know what this is. This is the Italian peanut butter, Nutella. This is what I grew up with. I would eat it with a spoon, spread it on a piece of Italian bread, and I was in heaven. Every Italian child loves Nutella, including my daughter. So what I used here is the raspberry preserves that you can buy at any grocery store, and the cherry preserves, which you can buy anywhere. And I usually get a really good brand for this because I want it to be kind of thick, not runny. Okay, so we're going to make a couple with each one. Okay, so I'm going to cut this like this. And we are going to make 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll make 4. We'll see how it works out. Okay, I'm going to move it over here a little bit, and I'm kind of patted, you know. We're going to do like maybe 2 with the, you don't need a whole bunch because we don't want to make a mess in the oven. So then you can do this any way you want to, but I like to do this and then this. And it looks like a, I don't know, a jelly roll. Then we're going to get my pan again. And we're going to put it right here. And again, I have parchment paper. And I'm going to put this like right here. Okay? Okay, we're going to do another one. Ok, so ho usato marmellata, la marmellata di ciliegie, cherry preserves. Ciliegie is cherry in Italian. And we're going to fold, facciamo così e poi la mettiamo qui. Don't worry if it doesn't look too pretty because it'll still taste good. So we did 2 with this. Adesso, this is the more. Marmellata in Italian means marmalade. It's not jelly and it's not jam. It's marmalade, which is a little bit thicker than the jelly and the jam. And if your hands get too sticky with a dough, you can dip them in the oil and they'll be fine. Okay, now we're going to do, looks like I might have enough to do another plain one. We'll see what happens here. Maybe a couple more plain ones. Yeah, I think we have enough to do a couple more plain ones. Okay, so. Okay, this first one I'm gonna use Nutella. Nutella is my daughter's favorite, and mine too. When nobody looks, I go in there and I just get a spoon and I just spoon it right out into my mouth. Maybe I put a little bit too much here, but that's okay. I'll eat that. So guys, I want to tell you a little bit about me. Like I told you, my name is Rose Mazza. My maiden name was Matei. Yes, I didn't change too much when I married my husband. I only changed a couple letters, which is good. I was born in San Giovanni in Fiore, Cosenza, Italy. And my parents came to America when I was a little girl. I had 2 brothers and a baby sister. And they told us that we were going to go on vacation. So we were all so excited. And here we are 50 years later and I'm still here. I really don't know what happened, guys. I think my mom and dad loved America and they decided to stay. But it was a very, very hard decision. I will tell you more about me later. So, as a little girl, I learned to cook watching my grandmother on my mom's side because my other grandmother passed away, so I never got to know my dad's mother. But I was told that she was also a great cook. So my grandmother Rose, she was a good cook. And in turn, my two aunts and my mother, they are also great cooks. I also have to thank my two special cousins, Maria Destito, which I know a lot of you know her. She moved to Italy 4 years ago, and we miss her very, very much. She was like my second mother. And her sister, Rose, and they taught me the rest. You know, so I watched a lot as they were cooking. But when you watch, I think it's even better than actually doing the thing because you remember a lot. As I got older, my mother always let me do, you know, help her with everything, with dinner, with baking, Christmas, and all the other holidays. So I made another one because we have a little bit of dough left over. So that's how I learned how to cook. You know, I am a language teacher, but my first passion is cooking. Although I love to teach and I love to teach languages, I teach Italian, Spanish, and French. But cooking, I think, is my passion. We're going to make a little room so we can accommodate this last one here. And this dough is so easy to work with. If you have one hanging, like a piece hanging down, just flip it over. Nobody will ever know. And it becomes a beautiful little brioche. Now you can make them as big or as little as you want to. I think I'm going to put this one right here because I have a little bit more room. Instead of just doing another cookie sheet, I'm going to put that right there, okay? And that's it, guys. Now, as far as the filling, you can put any preserves that you like. You can put peaches. You can put apples in there. Apricot is delicious. Apricot is really good. And these, after they're cooked, you can sprinkle them with some powdered sugar and they would make a great presentation like that. The other ones, I'll show you what I'm going to do when these get out of the oven. So we're going to put everything here and we're going to come back in about 20 minutes and we're going to see the last stage of my recipe and hopefully we'll get to taste something. Thank you.